In the middle of Anatolia, in what is now central Turkey, there is a mound of earth called Kültepe. It sits quietly near the city of Kayseri, unremarkable at first glance, just a hill rising from the dry plains. But beneath that hill, archaeologists have pulled out over 23,000 clay tablets. And those tablets tell a story that rewrites everything we thought we knew about the origins of banking, credit, and international trade. 4,000 years ago, on this exact patch of ground, Assyrian merchants built something the world had never seen. Not a temple, not a palace, a trading colony, a financial network, a system of contracts, loans, and wire transfers, written in clay, sealed in clay, enforced by clay. This is the story of Kültepe, and it begins not in Anatolia, but in a city called Assur. Assur sat on the banks of the Tigris River in what is now northern Iraq, a merchant city built around trade, not conquest. Around 1950 BC, Assyrian merchants realized something. Anatolia had gold and silver. Assur had tin and textiles. 1,500 kilometers of mountain passes separated them, and yet they decided to bridge it. Caravans set out from Assur loaded with cloth and tin being essential for bronze, the iron of its age. The journey took months, by donkey, through dangerous terrain. When they arrived in Knes, the Anatolian city at the heart of this network, they traded for gold and silver, then made the long journey back. But these merchants did not simply buy and sell. They built an institution. Outside the walls of Knes, the Assyrians established a district called the Karum. In their language, the word meant port or trading post. But what they built was something closer to a chamber of commerce, a courthouse, and a bank, all in one. Their own laws, their own judges, their own contracts. Constant correspondence with Assur, moving capital and instructions across 1,500 kilometers. This was the world's first known multinational trading company, and it ran on clay. Every transaction was recorded on a small clay tablet. Loans, sales, partnerships, disputes, pressed into wet clay with a reed stylus, then dried or baked. But what they invented went far beyond record-keeping. It was a complete financial system. They issued credit. A merchant in Knes could borrow silver, promising repayment with interest after a fixed period. Written in clay, witnessed, legally enforceable. The earliest known loan contracts in history. They created investment partnerships. Wealthy Assyrian families in Assur would back traveling merchants with capital, sharing profits and losses. The merchant took the risk of the road. The investor took the risk of the market. The basic structure of every investment fund that exists today. And then, the invention that truly astonishes. They created the wire transfer. A merchant in Assur could write a tablet instructing his partner in Knes to pay silver to a third party. No silver moved between cities, just a promise, carried by a courier, honored at the other end. The debt settled later between trading houses. 4,000 years before the internet, money moved across 1,500 kilometers without a single coin changing hands. The most ingenious piece was the clay envelope. A finished tablet was wrapped in a second layer of clay, with the same text pressed on the outside. The inner tablet was sealed. If anyone altered the outer text, you broke the seal and read the original inside. A document integrity system built from mud, the world's first financial security mechanism. And then there are the letters. Among the thousands of tablets recovered, many are not financial records. They are personal correspondence. A wife writes furious that the last textile shipment embarrassed her with buyers. A business partner threatens legal action over delayed payment. A son explains to his father why the silver is late. 4,000 years ago. The same complaints, the same anxieties, the same human drama around money that plays out in every office today. The Karum at Knes operated for roughly 2 centuries. Then, around 1750 BC, it was abandoned. Political instability, shifting trade routes, the collapse of what made it all possible. The tablet stayed behind, sealed in the earth. Turkish archaeologists began excavating in 1925. They are still digging. Every season, more contracts emerge, more letters, more evidence of a world doing, 4,000 years ago, what we assume we invented yesterday. The Assyrian merchants of Kültepe had no computers, no marble lobbies, no regulators in glass towers. They had clay, reeds, donkeys, and trust. They built a financial network spanning 1,500 kilometers on nothing but the shared belief that a pressed mark in dried mud meant something real. Sound familiar? I'm Pecunia Historian. The history of money is the history of everything.